What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this evening? Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to another episode of Wired for Crappie Live. Hope you guys are ready to talk shop tonight because I'm multitasking tonight. We're going to install this Ultrex trolling motor while we're talking live tonight. I'm going to kind of talk to you guys through, I guess, a little bit of how I do that. We'll answer some questions, talk crappie while I do it too, but we're going to multitask. We're going to get this trolling motor done, get it buttoned up. I've already got it mounted to the boat. This is a bullet. This is a 21-foot bullet that I'm working on tonight. This guy got a new Ultrex for Christmas. I'm not going to name his name. If he wants to tell you guys hello, he will, because he will probably be on tonight. If he does get on and says that, hey, there's my boat, then we'll talk about it. But I'm not going to name names right now. But he got an Ultrex for Christmas, and again, guys, went to the dealership that he bought it from, and they told him 2.5 months to install it. That's how far out they were. It's 2.5 months. So he called old Wired for Crappie, and he's getting a troll motor put on his boat. So a couple things we're going to do tonight. Like you can see, I've already got it. So for those of you that had a bullet before, has anybody had a bullet before? For some reason, Bullet actually mounts their trolling motors over on the side of the bow, not anywhere near the nose. The nose is right here. They mount them over here on the bow, and it's really awkward to keep control of the boat because they offset that trolling motor so far over to the side of the bow. It's really awkward. So anyway, he wanted to get away from that. He's like, I can't stand it. I need my trolling motor off the front of the boat, put it on the front of the boat. So I actually have because the contour of this boat, it actually has a plate, a mounting plate that goes under the trolling motor to kind of give you a flat surface to mount the trolling motor to take up those contours. So the bottom of the plate's got the contours for the boat, and then the top is flat. So it's a pretty neat setup, to be honest with you. But we've already got it mounted on there. Mounted it on there actually last night. Got all the bolts and everything ran. For those of you that can see, right here is the compartment that I had to go through, and I'm going to move that tray here in just a second so you guys can see. But this little compartment right here is what I had to stick my arm through last night, and it's only about 2 inches wide. So I think I know now why they mount them over on the side of the bow, because it is extremely hard. I've got a little arm, thank the Lord, or I wouldn't have been able to get up in there. So anyway, while I'm talking tonight, we're actually going to go through and put this motor on. I'm going to show you guys kind of how I do it, and if you guys are mounting a trolling motor or mounting an Ultrex, some pointers and some things to look out for, right? Obviously, I do electronics installs, trolling motors, units, live scopes, bow and transom, whichever one you want it on your console, transom mounted. I do those as well, just whatever you guys need, right? So electronics installs, if you want electronics installs, hit me up if you want to get something installed, and I can price it out for you. Okay, so where are we at with this thing? Let's see. Well, let's say some hellos first. I see Heath McDaniel, James Childers. Is that Childers from Cherokee? What's going on, James? Joseph Thaxton, Dave D. Can you guys hear me, by the way? I hope you guys can hear me, because I am a little further away from the computer tonight. Ronnie Harris, Larry Merrick. What's going on, Larry? Who else we got? Whoopsies. All right, who else we got on tonight? Let's see. Let me scroll up. I'm too old for this. I'm too old for this. Andy Perry, what's up? David Moyer, Paul Gwynn, Tom A, Robert Love, Bo Myers, Solomon Ott. What's going on? Heidi, how is Branson and Laura? They are good. They're doing real well. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. As always, Heidi. Jimmy Pratt, what's up? 922 Barbecue. Josh Sanders, hello, hello. Joseph Thaxton, Todd Aiken. Audio's fine. Good deal, good deal. Thank you, guys. Scott Winkler. Hello, Matt from Westchester, Ohio. What's going on? Curtis Hobbs signing in from Cochran, Georgia. What's going on? Mr. Lightwire Hooks is in the house, guys. Mr. Curtis Hobbs. Andy Leonard, what's up? Hey, real quick, before I get started, I got some packages. get up on my stool. Some packages to go through, guys. All right. Move these out of the way. Get out of my way a minute. Open some packages. All right. This package comes to us from Mr. Tom A. Tom, I hadn't seen you on here, I don't think. Maybe I have. Todd Aiken says, best in the business for installs. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this comes from Tom A. from Pennsylvania. Tom, I don't know if I've seen you on here or not, but I got your package, buddy. I appreciate you very much. And if I see you, we will actually tell you again when I see your name. But Tom sent me some fluoro, guys. Look at that, 6-pound fluoro. He said he had a couple extra packages, and he said, man, he said, I just want to donate them to you. It is the Vicious fluoro that I use, 100% fluorocarbon. That is 6-pound test and clear. So he had a couple of packs of those. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that very much. I got your package. I thank you, my friend, no doubt. And then next, I got some goodies, okay? I got some goodies. Where's my knifey? All right. Let's see what's in here. All right, so for those of you that like to cast the open water fish, a 16th, or I almost showed y'all what that was. All right, that's a secret. Let's set that over there. That's a secret. What's in there is a secret for that right now. But for those that like to throw the open water fish, okay, you guys have seen, you can't wait a lot of times for a 32nd ounce or 16th ounce to get down to that fish, because if you do, a lot of times that fish will move on you. So you need that bait to get down there pretty quick to that fish. Now, I went ahead and ordered some of these. This is a 3/16. Okay, you can see it right there, the little dot, 3/16 ounce. That's the ACC jig head, guys. If you guys have not seen these jig heads, that's a 3/16 ounce jig head. It's got a wire keeper on it. And the reason I got these is because I want to be able to get down to that fish pretty quick. So I got a bunch of 1/8 ounce from Mr. Curtis Hobbs. And I saw these 3/16, which is just a little bigger than an 1/8, but it's not a quarter. So I really didn't want to go to a 1/4 ounce because I felt like a 1/4 ounce was going to be too heavy. I was going to have to reel it too fast to keep it on a level plane in the water column. I was going to have to reel it too fast to keep it from sinking. And then I saw these 3/16 over at ACC, and I was like, yep, I'm going to try that. You guys know I like to experiment and try new stuff. So I'm going to try these out and see exactly what they do, exactly what they look like in the water, and how they fall and how they operate. So we're going to figure that out. So I got white, I got chartreuse, and I got pink. All right, so we're going to give those a shot, see how they do. I think they're going to do great. I'm looking forward to using them. Dave D. See, Dave D. What is the best address to use if sending a package to me? Shoot me a email at info@wiredforcrappie.com, info@wiredforcrappie.com, and I will I'll shoot you an address that you can mail stuff to. Okay, buddy? Ashley says, Matt seems to actually love drilling holes in other people's boats. It may be a disorder. It may be. I'm actually getting ready to drill some holes in this one here in just a second. So we've got to mount our Minn Kota heading sensor, and I actually get to drill 3 holes in the bow of this boat. So I'm looking forward to that. That's actually what I was getting ready to do. I'm marking the center line in that bow so that I can keep that dead center of the bow. That's actually what I was getting ready to do when I came on tonight. So we're going to mark that here in just a minute. I got some painter's tape. Hey, if you're drilling in a fiberglass boat, please, 2 tips. Okay. If you're drilling in a fiberglass boat, put painter's tape down on it first. That'll keep it from splintering. And then start your drill. Listen to me. Start your drill in reverse. Drill about 1/8 of an inch of that hole in reverse. And then flip over to drive and drive that baby home. Don't go crazy in forward on your boat in your gel coat because it will crack it. It will splinter the gel coat and you will not be happy with the results. So always, always, always painter's tape on fiberglass, and always, always, always start that hole in reverse. You will thank me later. Okay. Just tricks of the trade. Try to help you guys out if you're a do-it-yourselfer. If not, call Old Wired and I'll hook you up. Okay. But if you're a do-it-yourselfer, that's a tip if you don't know that one already. Heath McDaniel, you going to be at the fishing expo since last year went virtual? Probably so, yes. I don't know what day I will be there yet, but I will be there to some capacity at some point someday. Bonehead is going to be at the fishing show, so if you guys want some bonehead tackle, you guys know I love my bonehead tackle. Go see him at the fishing show and listen. Tell him Wired sent you, okay? You go to Bonehead Tackle at the fishing show this year, tell them Wired sent you. They'll hook you up. All right. I assure you they will hook you up. And I will be in that booth at some point, just not sure at what point that will be. Probably sometime this week and then sometime this weekend. I'm not exactly sure on what times and when, but I will be there at some capacity, yes. You working a booth at the show this weekend. So again, I will be at the Bonehead booth at some point in time. To answer your question, yes. When that is, I'm not 100%, but I will be at the Bonehead booth. So if you're at the fishing show, please check out the Bonehead booth and see if I'm there, because I will be there at some point. All right, so let's talk about what else is in this bag. I'm excited to use these. They're a little different. Keep an open mind. They're a little different. Acc Crappie Snacks. Okay. So everybody's seen the Acc Crappie Snack, the 2.5 or 3 inch, whatever it is. Larry Merrick said, okay, I'm going to get to that in just a second, Larry. Give me 2 seconds. All right. So if you have seen the Acc Crappie Sticks that Crappie Snacks they came out with, okay, you know that they're like 2.5 or 3 inches. They're pretty large, okay. This is actually a 1.75. Can you guys see that down there? It's 1.75 inch. This is called pear juice, okay. It's like a monkey milk and kind of a light chartreuse. Or a yellow chartreuse. It's actually a little more chartreuse than it's showing up on the screen. But this is a 1.75 inch bait. Okay. This is the Crappie Snack. Okay. 1.75. And actually, I love them. I really do. I really like the 1.75. I've got several different colors right here. So, of course, I mean, duh, right? Was there ever any doubt when they came out with a pumpkin and chartreuse like I was going to have that? So, you guys know me. I mean, come on, right? Got that old monkey milk color. And obviously that's not what they call it. They call it the Old Faithful. Yeah, right? Old Faithful. There you go. And then everybody knows I was going to get the black and green. Everybody knows I love that black and anything. So those are the colors that I got. I'm really looking forward to those, putting those on the water and seeing if I can catch some fish with them. I kind of envision that more of a dead stick bait, a dead sticking in brush and deep water. Maybe more of a summer bait, but I don't know. We're going to find out. I might be able to catch them casting. There's not a whole lot of action to that tail, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to trying it anyway and see what happens. All right. Larry Merrick says, instead of reaching your hand through, try riv nuts. Yeah, I'm not a fan of riv nuts. Okay. Reason being is I've seen a lot of those get loose, rip out. The rubber gets the rubber riv nuts get if you're talking about the rubber riv nut from Minn Kota that they sell, but they also do make a insert, so you can get an insert and actually have some of those. You can put like epoxy. Some people will epoxy an insert into the boat. So you drill a hole. It's almost like a I've got some somewhere because I put some in my boat actually for my rod holders in the back. But some people will actually use, it's almost like a shoot for, I can't remember the name of the thing now. Helicoil. It's almost like a helicoil, where you drill a hole out larger, you thread this thing in reverse, and I always epoxy mine in, and then you can run a bolt down in them from the top. But again, they loosen up, right? Over time, yeah, no rubber on real rib nuts. You're right. So, but again, without a nut on the bottom, without a lock washer on the bottom, or a lock nut on the bottom, they tend to loosen up. And I don't like a trolling motor that could loosen up. I mean, there's a lot of bounce and a lot of vibration with the trolling motor and trailering down the road. So I always like to get a lock nut, okay, a nylon lock nut on the bottom of those for sure. Yeah, at any cost. Now, if I could not get into this boat, I mean, yes, absolutely, a riv nut would be the way I'd go if I absolutely could not get in there. But I was able to get in there, and I've got a lot of different tricks to get in there. I mean, if I had that much room in there, I could get in there because I've got a big pry bar that I can put a socket on, obviously, and I can get in there with a nut and tighten it down from the top. So, you know, I get in there one way or another. I'll get in there. But anyway, Matt, how about the density on Crappie Snacks? I don't know. This is the first pack I've had. They've got a decent density. They're not as hard. I mean, they're not hard, but they're not as dense as a bonehead. I don't think they're going to last as long as a bonehead will. But I don't know anybody out there that's going to last as long as a bonehead. But they're pretty firm. I mean, they're not Bobby Garland's. So I think they're going to last pretty well. But we'll see. We're going to put them to the test, and we're going to see how long they'll last. So I'll update you guys on that when I can. Hang on, Dave. I'll come right back. I'm stuck in between the Ghost and the Ultrex. What is your input on these trolling motors? Ultrex, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. The Ghost, they're just having too many problems with the Ghost for me. The Ultrex, here we go. I'm not going to say anything else. I'll let Jimmy say it. You guys know I don't like talking bad about product. Joe, I have the Ghost. Go with the Ultrex. There you go. I would go with the Ultrex, 100%. All right. Ben wanted to ask what percentage of the time do you tear off that center tab at the bottom of a stump bug? About 50%. 50% of the time I tear it off. 50% of the time I don't tear it off. So it's about 50-50. Keith McDaniel said, I'm still trying to figure out what plastic Bonehead uses. I'm not telling. It's good. I tell you, the plastic they use is good. They know how to do it at Bonehead Tackle. There ain't no doubt about it. So, anyway, all right, now that I'm sore from leaning over that boat, pushing on that computer screen, talking to you guys, stand back up and get back to work. So, again, no, I'm not marking on his boat. I have tape down, okay? So everybody goes, oh, no, he's penciling that guy's boat. No, I'm not. I got tape down. All right. So we're actually going to measure and see from here up how long that is. Right dead centro. So that's 7 inches. So about 3.5. We're going to go about 3.5 inches. All right, so I'm gonna find my center right here, 3.5. Woo! Then comes the fun part. Ashley, this is for you, buddy. All right, so I just need to drill a hole right here for this heading sensor, big enough to get that little wire through. So again, 1/4 inch drill bit is what this is. Love drilling holes in fiberglass, guys. Absolutely love it. So again, we're going to start that joker in reverse. Looks good. All right, so we're going to start her in reverse. We're going to back her in there about 1/8 of an inch. In reverse, okay? Always go in reverse and get it started. Then cut her on down. Woo, some people are going, that hurts. Yeah, kind of does. Kind of does. Oh, I don't like playing with fiberglass dust. So we're going to hit that with the shop vac. My shop vac sounds sick, doesn't it? Anybody want to get me a new shop vac? All right. Now, on this heading sensor, this is a low voltage piece of equipment. It doesn't need a whole lot, okay? But let me tell you guys what the biggest mistake that I see the most when installing a trolling motor, especially one with a heading sensor, on like an Ultrax, okay? Let me explain to you what the absolute largest problem is, okay? Guys, when you install this, there is no switch to turn this on and off unless you put it on a switch, okay? So, you guys can't see it right here, but hold on. Let me put this back. I'm done in here. I'm done in here. All right. Yes, this boat has live scope. And yes, we're going to finagle everything around it. Okay. All right. So, on this switch right here, or on this panel, there is an ACC switch right here. That ACC stands for accessory. So can you guys see? There's a little light right there above that accessory. If I flip that, you've got a little light that comes on right here. That's the accessory switch. I'm going to wire this into that accessory switch. So when he gets to the lake, okay, there's two things you have to turn on in the front of the boat. The trolling motor itself, you got to flip it on, okay? And then you have to turn the accessory switch on to turn on your heading sensor. The reason I do that, all right, everybody says, well, that stinks. You got to remember to turn it on when you get to the lake. Yeah, well, would you rather have to turn it on when you get to the lake, or would you rather have this in your basement drawing your battery down every single time you go back home? Because this will not turn off on its own. If it's got power, it will draw off your battery. Now, some guys are going to say, yeah, but I've got power. I've got a power switch on my dash. I've got a power switch in the back of the boat that'll kill power. If you do, that's fine. The only thing you need to remember is you need to kill the power to this heading sensor every single time, because if you don't, it will stay on. It will draw your battery down. Okay, so this needs to be on a circuit that will be dead when you're not on the lake. Okay, doesn't matter how you do it, but it's got to be dead so that it doesn't draw your battery. Yeah. All right. Andy says, on a live scope system, would you just dedicate it strictly to live scope or have option of down and side vision imaging? I would just live scope for me. If I have a unit on the front of the boat, I just want to run live scope on it. I don't want to eat up any of that processor trying to for down scan or side scan or sonar, or even maps. Okay, I don't even put waypoints in my live scope unit because it eats up processor, and when you eat up processor, it slows your unit down. So if your unit has to think, okay, this waypoint's there, this waypoint's there, this waypoint's there, that waypoint's there, if it has to try to remember where those waypoints are and calculate the distance of those waypoints while you're sitting on the lake and calculate or compute everything that your live scope box is telling it, then you're eating up processor in two different ways, and it's lessening the processing power that it has to use towards live scope. So personally, me, I just dedicate my live scope unit to live scope. Okay. All right. Everybody knows this 12 volt only. Don't put this on your trolling motor, guys. If somebody says, "I'll just run that wire to power your trolling motor," not if you're running 24 volts. If you're running 24 volts, please, please, please don't put your daggum heading sensor on 24 volts. It will fry it. Okay. So we're going to run this down through here. We're going to pull all that wire down through. There's about 54 feet of wire on this thing. And the reason that is because they wanted to give people enough wire to go all the way back to some kind of switch, right? Like I said, you've got to put it on a switch. They didn't know if your switch would be in the front, in the back, on the console. So they gave you plenty of wire, which is nice. Minn Kota does that, but it's also a pain in the butt. Run all this wire through the hole that I just drilled. Oh, well, be all right. So I've had this boat for 2 days now. It normally doesn't take me that long to get one done. But last night, I only had about an hour to work, 2 hours maybe. And then I had to try to get the rest done today. I like to feed my wire and then pull. I don't like to pull. A lot of times you can cut a wire or skin a wire or something. I don't like to do that. I like to feed it and then pull the slack out. Just because I don't want to ruin somebody's wire. I don't want to buy another one. I won't buy one for them. If I tore it up, I would, but I'm gonna try not to tear it up. Larry said, I used to work at a boat manufacturer. I've drilled a lot of holes in boats. It's fun. Lots of laughs. Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of drilling holes in boats, especially other people's boats. Makes me nervous. I'm always afraid I'm going to drill a hole through the boat. I haven't yet. I'll just say that. But I'm like 15 times checking a hole before I drill it. All right. Another reason that I wanted to mark the center of that boat with a square, because this heading sensor, you want to try to get it lined up as perfect as you can on the center line of your boat. And the reason that you want to do that, now listen to me, here's a lot of the reasons that people have issues with their trolling motor and their spot lock. Okay. If you have issues with your spot lock, make sure that your heading sensor is as close to pointing right down the center line of your boat as possible, because that heading sensor is what tells your spot lock where you're at, where to go, how to move the boat. So if you're noticing that your boat is always pointed this direction and you're trying to spot lock here, your boat always drifts here, it could be that your heading sensor is not square to the center line of your boat. You want that heading sensor square to the center line so that you have the best spot lock that you could possibly have. Okay, a lot of people blame a trolling motor on a bad install. All right, so if you're having problems, check that. Make sure that that's something that, elimination, right? You eliminate things to try to realize what your problem is. Check your heading sensor and make sure that it's square. All right. So what I'm going to do, now that I have that line there, okay, that shows me where square is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill my holes for my screws, drill more holes to screw this thing down. Where are my drill bits? Oh, if they were a snake, right? All right, so we're gonna drill our holes for our screws. We gotta find the screws. Yeah, there they are. Again, we want to ensure, make sure, double check, know that we know that we know that we know that we know that we're drilling these where they need to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that that line's cutting right through the center of that hole. And then I'm just going to drill it out in reverse first, remember? Perfect. Right on that center line. Drill that hole right through. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first screw in, but I'm not going to run it all the way down. I'm just going to get it to where it'll hold it still. We're going to drill that second hole. Remember, I've still got tape. I've still got tape on the boat itself. Ensure that it doesn't crack the gel coat. Now, aluminum boats, I love aluminum boats because you can drill right through them suckers and run screws right down in them, and it don't hurt you not one bit. So, you know, difference in aluminum and fiberglass, I guess, right? Everybody says, what's the difference in aluminum and fiberglass? Rigging it. Rigging it is horrible. All right? You just got to be careful and make sure you don't damage. Make sure you don't damage somebody's gel coat. You guys still see me, hear me? I'm getting pop-ups. Hope you guys can still see me. Okay. So tell me what you guys think. What do you guys think about cool. What do you guys think? Lowrance, Humming, or not Lowrance? Yeah, Lowrance Ghost, new trolling motor. You got the Garmin, and then you got the Ultrex. That seems to be the three that are kind of front runners right now. I know the question was asked earlier about the Garmin Force. I've just talked to a lot of people that have had a lot of issues with them. I'm not a fan of them. I'd like to hear what you guys think. What are you guys running? Is anybody running the Ghost? Is anybody run or not the Ghost, the Lowrance, and then the Force? Is anybody running those trolling motors? And what do you guys think about them? I mean, I know there's a lot of Ultrex users on here. I've seen that. So, you know, the Ultrex is tried and true. I don't know. I'm just saying. I like to stick with the things that I know are going to run right. All right, so now I got those screws hot. That screw's hot. Now I got those screws run. I'm gonna take this up. I'm gonna pull my tape off. Good. Right down in there. Put my screws in. We're gonna be good to go. Now, when I run these screws in all the way, I'm actually gonna do it with a hand screwdriver. Okay. I don't ever tighten these screws up and tighten them down with this drill driver. Not in stuff like this, especially not in fiberglass. In aluminum, I may, but on a fiberglass boat, I tend to do that by hand because the last thing I want to do is crack that fiberglass like I told you guys. It's all about protecting the customer's boat, right? They come in here and there's a big crack in their fiberglass, they ain't gonna be happy with me. So I always try to make sure that it's in the same shape when you all get it back as it is when it gets here. Sean Bradford says force. He's running the force. He says Ultrex eats power and loud compared to the force. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. I've heard that the force is quieter. All right, guys, we're in good shape there. Good shape. Yeah, I've heard that. My Ultrex doesn't seem to spook fish, but I have heard that the Ghost and the Force are quieter. Andy Perry says, I used a Ghost and it was a beast on a very... Scroll up. You lost me. Beast on a very windy day. Not linked to anything. I'm running an old Edge Ultrex Ghost. May be a graduation present this year. There you go. Josh Sanders says, I haven't had good luck fishing with the Force and its ability to spot lock. It is much quieter than the Ultrex, but in East Tennessee, you can't get within 30 to 50 feet of a crappie with anything anyways. Yeah, that's true. Ashley says, I got a second generation Tarova. I really like it. Biggest difference is between it and the Ultrex is Tarova has electric steer and Ultrex is cable steer, making Ultrex more responsive and quicker direction changes. Yep. So the Ultrex is a lot quicker on the foot pedal. I used to have a Tarova as well, and the Ultrex absolutely slays the Tarova as far as responsiveness. Larry said, when I rigging and working on boats, there was none of this fancy stuff. A flasher was the real thing. This was in the early 70s. I'm old. You're only as old as you feel, Larry. I ordered an Ultrex in August and still don't have it. Supposedly it's something to do with the iPilot link. I've been told I should get it sometime this month. That's good, David. Larry says, love my Ulterra. Force is what I have. Andrew says, Force is what I have. 4.0 update. Locked mine up. Had to send it in, and they sent me a new one. Calm day, it overshoots on spot lock. Windy days, it holds solid. The problem is I've had a lot of guys that have had to send them in, had problems with them, and it's all bugs that they're working out. But you ever heard, you don't want to be a guinea pig? You don't want to be the first one to get something because you don't want to be the guinea pig. That's kind of where I'm at with Garmin and Lowrance right now. Is I don't want to be the guinea pig. I want to get the bugs worked out of it before I jump off into that cesspool. But Dave says my dealer installed Ultrex heading sensors probably 5 to 6 degrees off center on the boat. Would you move it? Yes. If your heading sensor is not square to the center line of the boat, I would move it. Absolutely. Because it's going to affect your spot lock. I don't care what they tell you. It's going to affect your spot lock. You're never going to get one perfect. I'll say that. 5 to 6 degrees to me is too much. Anything over 2, you need to really fix it. When you calibrate these motors, you're going to do a heading sensor calibration, and it's going to tell you how far off your heading sensor is. One, it tells you that how far off it is, what the offset is on it. because you're going to have an offset to this motor. And if it tells you anything more than 2 or -2, I would change it. Absolutely. I mean, I can eyeball in between 2 and -2. So, if they can't eyeball in between 2 and -2, I would change it. Yes, to answer your question. There goes. Yeah, Jimmy Pratt's talking to text again, guys. That's it. Okay, let's see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually spool this back up. I don't ever cut this for multiple reasons. One, I don't like cutting wire that I can hide. If I can hide it, I'm not going to cut it. And why is that? Because, well, let's say this gentleman, he says, you know what? I'm going to sell my boat, and I'm going to buy a different boat. And I'm going to take my old Trex off because I ain't selling it with my old Trex. I want my old Trex. And he takes it off, and he thinks, well, I'm going to go to a Ranger because Ranger boats are the best. Just ask me. I'll tell you that. So let's say he says, I want to buy a Ranger. Let's say he pops this thing out, and he takes it to his new boat. His new boat doesn't have that ACC switch up front. Well, guess what? Now he might need that cord to run back to his deck, rather to the back of the boat or to the console. And if I cut this off, again, this is low voltage, guys. This is low voltage. It does not need 12.4 volts all the time to run. It's low voltage. Okay, so I am not going to cut this wire. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just wrapping it up with regular old painter's tape, and I'm going to throw it right here in the bottom of the boat. And I'm going to wire this thing up to this ACC switch so that when he flips this on, flips his trolling motor on, he's got power here, he's got power to the trolling motor. Okay? So let's talk about the next thing. Let's talk about power to the trolling motor. Okay? There's different types of trolling motors, obviously, right? There's 12 volt, 24 volt, 36 volt. All of them are based on thrust. Okay? So what pound thrust you have is going to decide what voltage trolling motor you have, right? Well, this is a 24 volt trolling motor. It is a 80 pound thrust, 24 volt trolling motor, and he's got a Minn Kota plug, which is right here. He bought a new plug. He brought it to me. He said, I want this plug because it fits the existing plug in. He said, but I want to put a new plug on it. The other one had some burn marks on it. I want a new plug. I said, cool. So Tom A., thank you, buddy, for the super chat. I appreciate you very much, Tom. Tom, you the man. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. Thank you for the line. I got it. Like you said, you're welcome, but thank you, buddy. I appreciate it very much. And thank you for the super chat. Guys, if you don't know what a super chat is, that's a way for you to give back to this channel, keep me on the water, making great content for you guys. And I hope you've enjoyed the how-to stuff that I've been doing, guys. I've really flipped over to a lot of how-to stuff, more so than just going out there and catching crappie. Everybody knows people can go catch crappie. You guys know I can go catch crappie. I know I can go catch crappie. I want to help you guys learn how to catch crappie. I don't just want to go out there and let you guys watch me all the time, nonstop, catch crappie. I want to help. I want to teach. I want to do my part to help everybody grow as a crappie fisherman. So, hope you guys have been enjoying the how-to stuff. It's going to continue. The fishing's going to continue. We're going to keep fishing. We're not going to stop fishing. All right. So for those of you that are like, man, don't stop fishing. I'm not going to stop fishing. We're going to do fishing videos, but they're going to be how-to geared. Okay. How to do this, how to do that. But anyway, Tom, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate you more than you know. All right. So again, this plug is wired or can be wired for 12 and 24 volts. Okay. Now, this is where it gets a little funky. This is where it gets a little tricky. So some boats, okay, on this plug-in, some boats, there's 4 wires. I don't know if you guys can see. There's 4 trolling motor wires. There's 2 reds, 2 blacks, 1 from each battery, positive from each battery and negative from each battery that come into the back of this plug. And somehow in this plug, there is a bracket that connects those two 12 volts and makes them 24 for a 24-volt trolling motor. Okay. My responsibility is to figure out which two of these, when combined, makes 24 volts. I need a negative and I need the positive that gives me 24. And I need to make sure that I put the leads correctly on this plug to do so. So let me show you guys a little trick. Now, when you're doing this, okay, when you're doing this, do not hold on to the leads of this trolling on the screws on this trolling motor plug. Okay, do not, because what will happen is it will bite you. Okay, so I put this back in here. All right, put it in there. I find my plug in. This plug will only go in that plug in one way. So I find that plug in, push that plug in there, and then I take this back side off. So I've got the plug plugged in. Okay, that plug's hot. You don't want to go touching around that plug. If anybody didn't see where I burned my ring to my trolling motor batteries the other day, when you go playing with electricity, it will get you. It will get you. All right. So now what I do, I get my voltmeter. Whoopsies. I get my voltmeter. Okay. I throw that thing over on it's actually on 200 volts right now because I'm reading 24. So 20 is not going to do it because it's going to max it out. So I got to go to 200 so that I can get 24 volts out of it. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start finding a negative and a positive. All right. Don't have anything there. So I'm going to put my negative on one screw and I'm going to go around and check the other screws. All right. I got something right there. I got right here. Nope, that was residual. Sorry, I lied. All right, I got 12 volts right here. All right, that's not enough. I need 24. Okay, so now I'm going to check this one. Got negative 12 volts right there. So if I got negative 12 volts right there, then I need to move my negative over to this side. So if I move my negative over to this hole, I'll check this one that I had 12 on. Bingo! I got 24 volts. Okay, I'll show you guys. 24 volts. All right, 24.2, 23, it's moving around, 23.78. Guys see that? 23.8. So now I know that my negative is here, okay, on this one, and my positive 24 is on this one. Now, to get this out, I'm not dumb. I'm going to be smart about it. We're going to take us a little glovey. I'm just going to wiggle that joker out. All right. I'm going to lay it down where I can remember which one's negative and which one's positive. All right. So I got negative on this side, and I got positive 24 right there. So that's where I'm going to put my negative and my positive. Okay. That's simple. That's simple. So I'm going to take my leads. I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to put my negative and positive in here. And actually, I'm going to have to cut this because this wire actually slides right down in the top of it. Get positive, positive. Be right back. I got to get some cutters. Oh, there's some cutters. I think, yeah. All right. So again, all this extra wire, I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to leave it there just in case he wants to put this on a new boat somewhere down the road. Strip these wires back. Let's see. All right. These wire strippers aren't actually large enough. This is normally a little bit faster process when I'm not talking my way through it. That's all right. All right, so the negative and the negative side, tighten that down. Whoopsie. Put the cap on first. Run that through there. Negative in there. Tighten her down. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right, guys? Said that before? I feel like I've said that a million times. All right. Slide this plug around. Lined up square. Flathead. Grab a flathead. All right, so who on here fished the ACC tournament last year? Who fished the ACC Crappie Sticks tournament, the big fish tournament on Watts Bar? And who heard about the tournament? So if you fished the ACC tournament last year, it was a big fish tournament. They paid out 8 hours on big fish. Hang on, guys. Man, our moderators are killing it today. Killing it. Y'all see any craziness? Our moderators are knocking that stuff out. So thank y'all very much for doing that. Jeff Johnson. Oh, speaking of the ACC tournament, the ACC tournament, the big fish tournament. All right. They paid out every hour for a big fish every hour. Last year, it was like $750. The payouts this year have not been guaranteed, but they're paying out $1,000 an hour. Okay. That's what they're pushing for right now. $1,000 an hour. $8,000 going to be given away that day. All you got to do is catch one fish. One. And you win an hour. One big fish gets you $1,000, and you got 8 hours to do it in. Okay, you could win all 8 hours. You might win $8,000, but all you got to do is catch that one big fish. That tournament is happening on Watts Bar again this year, April the 9th. April the 9th, guys, is when that tournament's happening. So if you are not a tournament crappie angler, but you know you can go catch fish, and you know you got just as good of a chance as anybody else is catching one big fish, April the 9th. It's $150 entry fee, I believe. Chance to win $1,000 an hour. It's crazy. So that's the Crappie Cove ACC Big Fish Classic, or something along those lines is what they're going to name it. Crappie Cove is the head sponsor for that. ACC is partnered with them to put that event on, and it is going to be an absolute blast. If you don't know of Crappie Cove in Maryville, Tennessee, obviously my discount code's right down there at the bottom of the screen. You can save some money at Crappie Cove, get you a discount with the word wired. All you got to do is mention wired when you call or when you order online. You can put wired in online, save you some money. Crappie Cove. ACC rods at Crappie Cove. You can save some money on them. Okay. So mark that down in your books and your calendars. April the 9th. It's going to be a blast. Okay. So make sure you mark that down. Got all kinds of craziness. I don't know who all's on here tonight. Some crazy people. All right. All right, so our plug's good. We're ready to rock and roll with our plug. Got everything we need there. Tighten this up on this wire. Doesn't come out. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Come on now. All right. So, plug's ready to go. Everything's ready to rock, ready to roll. I'm going to take the screws out of that before we drop that in there. Screws out the foot tray. All right. Boy, that's tight right there. It's extremely tight. What do you think? Awfully tight in that foot tray. Andy Leonard, will your discount work for in-store purchase at Crappie Cove? Yes, it will. If you mention wired at the store when you're there, it will save you 10%. Okay, that's in-store as well. Andrew, can you already sign up for ACC tournament, and is it going to be on Watts Bar again? Yes, it's going to be on Watts Bar again, and yes, you can sign up for it. Call Crappie Cove, and they will get you signed up. Everything is going to go through Crappie Cove. They will get you signed up, and yes, to answer your question, you can, and yes, it will be on Watts Bar. Okay. All right, so next we are going to wire the power for our sensor, and we are going to put everything back together because we're pretty much done at this point. So we're gonna wire that up and get it ready to go. Clean up, get it ready to send out the door. All right, anybody have any questions, trolling motor wise? Anything? Nothing? Something? Install wise? Did I answer that question, Jeff? I don't know if I answered Jeff's question. Do you ever wire straight into the plug or always use male end to plug into? So there we go. So to answer your question, I will wire one straight, but if I wire one straight, I want it at least to have a fuse in it, okay? A breaker. If they have breakers on them, I will wire them straight if I don't have a plug. If I don't have a plug up front, then yes, to answer your question, I will wire it straight, but not unless there is a plug, okay? So to answer your question, yes, I will wire them straight, but not without a breaker. Because the last thing you want to do is blow your trolling motor up. All right, guys. Well, we've been on here an hour now. And I'm actually going to say c'est la vie. All right. Andy says, how about sticking one of those Phil floats in your pocket when you come to fishing show, and I'll trade you for some money for it. Yeah. So an update on the Phil float. An update on the Phil float, guys. I've actually contacted Phil directly and asked them if they would consider running those for me. And they're supposed to be talking about it to see if they'll actually run some. So hopefully to answer your question, they'll run some for us. And if they do, I'll let you guys have some. I'll give some away, and then I'll also sell some. So, because if I can get them, I'm going to have to buy a buttload of them. So we'll see. We'll see if they'll do it. No dioxide on that plug. Nope. Nope. Not for me. Are you talking about electrical grease? I'm assuming you're talking about grease. I don't want anything, Bradley, in there that could collect dirt and grime. I'm not a big fan of electrical grease just because, like I said, it holds dirt and grime. It captures dirt and grime, and it holds it on that plug. I'm just not a big fan of gooping it up. I actually do not recommend electrical grease. Any of y'all have a fishing specialties pole? I had a different pole, never had ghost tree. Now I get a ghost tree with the transducer mount. Can I angle the live scope down some? Will that help? Bo, I'd love to tell you go buy a fishing specialties pole because that's what I run, buddy. And I believe it's the best pole in the business. But I will tell you this, that ghost tree is not coming from your pole. The ghost tree is coming from a reflection of your transducer off the bottom. A reflection of your sonar off the bottom is where you're getting that from. A lot of guys get it in hard bottoms. You're going to get it. In shallower water, you're going to get it. And if you're fishing, some guys say, well, mine comes and goes. That's because sometimes you're fishing a hard bottom, sometimes you're fishing a soft bottom. So I'd love to tell you that a switching pole is going to change that, but it won't, unfortunately. Okay. Can you hook up the heading sensor to the lights on the front of the boat? It has a switch at console to turn it off. Yes. So if you have a switch on your console, then yes, absolutely. You can wire it to the lights in the front of the boat. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. I appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate y'all for being here with me. Don't forget, if you want to have an install done, if you have anything, live scope, unit on the console, trolling motor, whatever it may be, if you have a unit that you need installed, hit me up. Let me know what you got and what you need installed. We'll get you in the shop and out of the shop. All my boats stay in the shop 100% of the time. I don't sit anything out in the rain. And, I just try to do it at a minimal cost for you guys to help out. So, I feel like maybe there is some really high prices out there as far as installs are concerned. So I try to do my part to keep that down. But anyway, hit me up if you're looking for an install. Appreciate y'all as always. God bless. We'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Watch out for that next video coming at you. And thank y'all for all y'all do for the channel. We're getting closer to that 10,000 subscriber giveaway. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button before you leave, because at 10,000 subscribers, we're going to give away a 2-day fishing trip to one lucky subscriber that we will pay for, or I will pay for. My wife always gets on to me about, she's like, who's this we? I'm like, it's me and you, babe. It's me and you. But I will pay for your motel and your fishing license while you're here. And we're going to go fishing on 2 different lakes here in East Tennessee, go catch a bunch of crappie. It's going to be fun. So I appreciate y'all again. Thank y'all so much. And we'll catch you next week. See you guys.